morning. You are tuned into News and Views right here on Salam Media. And let's just remind you, we are all about humanitarian journalism. Now, once again, we're hearing about some shenanigans going on regarding SASSA, and the Senior Manager Communications and Marketing at the SASSA Gauteng region, Lungelo Mkamba, is here to talk to us about this latest scam that is going on. Lungelo, a very good morning to you. Welcome to the program, and I'm so glad that SASSA has come across this latest shenanigan that is targeting our poor pensioners. As it is, they can hardly make ends meet, and you have these vultures pouncing on them and really trying to rob them of what is truly rightfully theirs. Now, we do understand that you too are truly alarmed by allegations of misleading practices resulting in unauthorized deductions from social grants. So what is it this time around, Lungelo?
Good day to you and all your listeners.
Okay, I'm going to have to ask you, Lungelo, to unmute yourself. I can't hear you. Can you unmute yourself on your PC or I'm not quite sure whether you're using a laptop or you're using your phone, but you need to press your unmute button. Let's try that again. Good morning. Welcome. We need to talk with you because you're here to share some very important information for us regarding our senior citizens, regarding obviously their SASSA grants.
Good morning to you and your audience.
I still am unable to hear Lungelo. Let's see if we can reconnect to Lungelo Mkamba, who is in fact the Senior Manager Communications and Marketing, SASSA Gauteng region. And SASSA themselves are very alarmed by unauthorized deductions from social grants. I'm wondering how this is all coming to play. Does this mean that it's being done without the knowledge of the SASSA recipients? We will try and unpack all of that in a minute or two. Let's go for another ad break, and then we can continue with Lungelo. There does seem to be a problem with connectivity. Please stay with us.
Connect and stay ahead with Salam Media. This is Salam Media, coming to you live from South Africa. It's a new beginning, new era. Salam Media, humanitarian journalism.
Certainly from the side of them, they have not told us, public, whether in any of the they've made any findings. So simply put, from that point of view, they are very sure. What has become clear is also what Sirram himself has said, which is that unless charged by the NPA charged, he is not going to step down. For now, Sirram Ramaphosa has the Zuma type stance that he will stand until he is made to fall. I think we need to be careful wanting to be a non-intellectual. Good practice follows good theory. Good must lead to good practice. So a good practice has a good theory, whether that theory is or not.
Political analyst Sandy Leswan.
Salam Media, a global voice for humanity. Breaking stereotypes, moving boundaries, joining hands. Salam Media. Humanity sets the agenda. Media, a global voice for tea.
24 decided I had to figure out the reality, and the only way I was going to do that was to go self. I couldn't rely on mainstream media. I didn't want to rely on anybody, so I went. And witness changed me for what I thought forever. I was shocked in Hebron, where I witnessed a 13 or 14-year-old child threaten to kill an activist. An activist is there every single day. He said that if when I grow up, I want to kill you and your family. He said this in Hebrew. That was one thing. And then he high-fived the soldiers. And so that was one thing that was really eye-opening. I was in Sheikh Jarrah in Jerusalem, and I saw all of these young kids picking on an Arab kid, a Palestinian. And I asked them about what they thought of Palestinians, and they said they're dirty terrorists, they're this, they're that. Nothing nice to say, but didn't want to spend time with one, didn't want to meet one. And I could see the demonisation and the propaganda had been done such a good job, not only on me, but also on all of the Israelis as well.
Robert Martin, an Australian activist whose life took a profound turn after years on the front lines of human rights.
Salam Media, a global voice for humanity. Breaking stereotypes, moving boundaries, joining hands. Salam Media. Humanity sets the agenda.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum and welcome back. It is exactly 18 after 8 o'clock and we're going to try again to reconnect with our first guest with a very important story, and this has to do with SASSA recipients. Lungelo Mkamba, are you there? A very good morning to you. Welcome.
Good morning to you and all the listeners of Salam Media.
Okay, we are not being lucky at all this morning. I see Lungelo on screen. The picture is really very clear. And I'm unable to interact with Lungelo because I can't hear him. Let me ask him, Lungelo, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you loud and clear.
He says he can hear me, but I'm not getting any sound from his side. We're doing everything we possibly can to try and get this interview on the road. I have 2 technicians working in the back room trying to fix the problem. And let's see what happens. Let me give you a reminder once again. Our next story will be with Louis Sito. I think that's how it's pronounced. He says he's been silenced for solidarity at the Houghton Golf Club simply because he was flying a Palestinian flag. He went to the Houghton Golf Club yesterday to play a game of golf, but because he had a Palestinian flag draped over his passenger window of the car, he was barred from actually playing. I think that's the story. We will get the full story from him. I'd love to hear who it was that approached him, what was that interaction all about, and what was the end result. Did he in fact manage to play a game of golf? And what did he have to do? Did it mean that he had to remove the Palestinian flag? Okay, I see Lungelo is back on my screen, and let's see if we can get this interview going. Hi there, once again, Lungelo. Very good morning. Welcome to Salam Media.
Good day to you and all the listeners.
Nope. It ain't working. I still can't hear you. So I'm really not sure what's going on. In the meantime, I'm going to talk some more about what else is coming up on the show today, whilst the technical producer's really hard at work trying to get us some sound here. But I did hear something on my earphones a minute ago. So let's see if we can talk with you, Lungelo. Hi there, welcome back. Can you hear me, Lungelo? Talk to me, Lungelo. All right, he's giving me the thumbs up. I can't see the video. He's giving me a thumbs up, but I can't hear him. So let's see if we can rather connect with Lungelo telephonically. We'll be back with you in a minute or two with Lungelo, but don't go away. I'm still talking about what's coming up on the show. We're going to be looking at that horrific road rage incident literally around the corner from us in Emmarentia, Johannesburg. I think it all unfolded in Barry Herzog Drive. 2 cars were involved. The one car contained a family, a mother, father, and their 2 children. And I think the other car was just one passenger. We will bring you an a closer look at what exactly happened there. I did indicate earlier on that there is a video that is going viral, and it shows you how the two distraught children are trying, well, in fact, the little boy trying to revive his father that is lying on the road. And I think by this time he had really already passed on. A story that gave me horrible, horrible nightmares. We will talk with Bianca Albertini, who is the chairperson of the Parkview CPF. Okay, I've just been given the thumbs up at 24 minutes after 8 o'clock, and let's see if we can talk with Lungelo Mkamba. Lungelo, third time, I think in this instance, it's fourth time lucky. A very good morning to you. Welcome to Salam Media News and Views with me, Julie Ali. Can you hear me? Welcome to the program.
Good day to you and all the listeners. Yes, I can hear you loud and clear.
Finally. Lovely to talk. Lovely to talk to you. And there was no ways we could dismiss this very important story, because it does impact on the lives of the senior citizens of our country. We do understand that the South African Security Agency, which is you, SASSA in Gauteng, are alarmed by allegations of misleading practices resulting in unauthorized deductions from social grants. So how is this in fact happening? Are the recipients of the grants, the pensioners, in fact aware? Are they being approached to sign forms which they don't understand what they're signing? What on earth is going on? Please talk to us about this very serious matter.
Indeed, as SASSA Gauteng, we are worried and we are concerned about these allegations that some of our beneficiaries are being misled into signing documents which have unfortunately in some instances resulted in unauthorized policy deductions such as your funeral policies. Now, what these fraudsters are doing is that they are approaching some of our beneficiaries, and what we are learning is that they are in some cases purporting to be working on behalf of SASSA. They are doing door-to-door visits, and in some instances they are claiming that if you sign these documents, you will receive a food voucher, you will receive a T-shirt, or you just need to sign these documents. They are doing anything possible to make sure that our beneficiaries sign these documents. Now, the unfortunate part is that these documents inadvertently lead to our beneficiaries taking a policy without their knowledge. And regretfully, they will only find out when they receive their SASSA grants, and then they will notice that my money is not adding up. And when they check with us, we then find out that, no, you took a funeral policy. That is why there is a 200 Rand or a 300 Rand or 100 Rand that is being deducted from your account. So we are condemning this as SASSA, and we are pleading with our beneficiaries, especially our vulnerable senior citizens, our pensioners, our grandmothers at home. Please do not sign any documents if you are unsure or you do not understand the contents of those documents.
Okay, so the all-important question, Lungelo, is, has SASSA done further investigations into the companies that is deducting the money? Because that will then point you to who the company is, and then possibly lay charges against them for, misleading the pensioners by signing up for policies which they either don't need or they can't afford. So I'm hoping SASSA has already done that or are in the process of doing that, and try and shut down this illegal. It's illegal in the way their agents are conning people into signing up for these policies. So have you managed to finger which company is involved here?
Absolutely. We are aware which companies are involved, but the difficulty is that in some cases, we find out that some of our beneficiaries have actually taken up the policy, and in that case, we are unable to take action. But where a beneficiary comes to us and say, I did not agree to this, I did not consent to taking a policy, we from our side are then able to do an investigation, and we also encourage the beneficiary to cancel that policy with the company directly. And in fact, as early as last week, I made contact with some of the companies that are involved, because we want to also give them a right of reply to find out from their side before we are able to take action, to find out what exactly is going on. We want to hear from them and give them an opportunity to respond to this. But I think what is more important to clarify as well is that our law permits, as SASSA, that a beneficiary is permitted to take a funeral policy. And we do encourage our beneficiaries, it's up to them. This is their grant money. If they want to take a funeral policy, it is their decision. We implement it as SASSA. But what we are condemning is that a beneficiary must not be misled or tricked into signing something they did not consent to.
Okay, so let's look at cancelled policies and refunds. If a senior citizen has been duped into signing for a policy, I also know that by law, only 10% is permitted as a deduction for a funeral policy. So as we speak, is it really whether it was knowingly or unknowingly that the SASSA beneficiaries have signed for these funeral policies? Do we know that whether it exceeds that 10% or not? And then also those people who were duped into signing for these policies, you have advised them to cancel the policies. Will they be refunded for the monies deducted? Let's assume it was monies deducted over the past 6 months. And that's a lot of money for a pensioner to be losing out on. Will they then get refunded for the 6 months deduction, longer or shorter, simply because they were conned into signing the policy?
Absolutely. You are correct that only 10% of the beneficiary's grant is permitted for a funeral policy. So we make sure that we abide by this. If a beneficiary is taking up a policy, we make sure that it does not exceed the 10%. That's the first thing. And each case is treated on its own merit. So what happens is, once the beneficiary informs us that I did not consent to this policy, I did not know this company, I did not agree to this, we then have to do an investigation to find out the circumstances that led to that policy being taken. And where our investigation uncovers that, yes, indeed, a pensioner Act did not agree to this, they will be refunded in full. Where we find that each case is definitely treated on its own merit, because there are also instances, because these are senior citizens that we are talking about. For example, when I spoke to some of them last week, some would say, yes, I agreed to this, but I cannot remember signing it. But yes, I did agree to a policy. But when you interact with some of them, they are saying that I did not consent to this. I wanted to be cancelled and I would like a refund. And we do an investigation, and where we find out that indeed the beneficiary did not consent or agree to the policy, we definitely have to process the refund.
Okay, so legally, once the money has been, all right, I think from a legal standpoint, um, if the senior citizen has signed for a policy, whether they were conned into signing it or not, or whether it was to their full knowledge, um, legally, are they then entitled to a refund? I mean, the company then would have grounds to defend their position, would they not?
Absolutely. As I said, each case has its own facts, and we treat it on its own merit, because once it's reported to us, we have to do an investigation to find out and hear from the beneficiary what exactly transpired. And we also have to give the company in question a right of reply. And from there, that is where we make the determination that no, the pensioner here was tricked into signing this. They did not agree to this, and they have to be refunded their full money. But like I indicated, in some instances, some of the beneficiaries will say, yes, I did take up this policy, but I don't want it anymore. Or I took it up, but I cannot remember signing for it. So that is, it's important to give each party a right of reply and do a thorough investigation. And then we are guided by the outcome of that investigation. But where a beneficiary is absolutely certain that they did not consent or they did not agree, they can simply visit any SASSA local office and report the matter to us. They can also dispute the deduction by sending an SMS to 34548. That is 34548. And they just have to simply include their ID number as well as the name of the company.
Okay, Lungelo, we're going to wrap up now, but an important question. We know that, there's always long queues and backlogs, not only with the recipients coming to collect their SASSA grants, but also when there are issues that they need to take up with SASSA, maybe like in this case, unauthorized deductions or queries around the amounts that's being deducted, etc. How speedily do these issues get resolved? Because as it is, just coming for their grants, the senior citizens wait almost an entire day. It costs them money to come and collect their pension, which is so, so sad. And there's all of those issues at play here as well. So how are you going to ease this situation for them, make it quick, make it speedy, make it easy? And how long do you believe they'll wait before the issue will be resolved and they can get refunded?
Well, on average, we resolve the matter absolutely as soon as we can. It doesn't take more than a month. And I can just give you an example. Last week, there was a group of senior citizens that came to our offices in Benoni. I was physically there myself. We worked together with the local office. We took all their ID numbers and we were able to take all their contact details, and we created a spreadsheet. And on the same day, we were able to send the request for the cancellations as well as the request for the refunds to our head office. And they are currently busy assessing the request that they have sent to them. And we anticipate that we will receive a response this week. But as you've indicated, we do understand that there is pressure at our offices, which is why we also have created the SMS option. So they do not also have to come physically to our office. They can simply send an SMS to 34548 and include their ID number as well as the name of the company in question. And they are also permitted to also contact the company directly and say, I did not agree to this. Please cancel this immediately. But we are also saying that if they prefer to come to our office, they are more than welcome, and we will always assist them.
Okay, Lungelo, that is where we're going to have to leave it. Thank you indeed for, making this issue quite clear to us. And I'm glad to hear that SASSA is being very, very proactive regarding this matter. Thank you. God bless.
Thank you so much. Have a good day, Sada.
And you. 8:38 exactly, right here on News and Views on Salam Media.